One of my favorite writers is Richard Rohr. He's a Franciscan friar. He sends out daily devotions on the internet, and I find them very thought-provoking. The devotions this week were about liminal space. It's the betwixt and between times in our lives. It's when we leave one stage and enter the next. These plants are in one stage and entering another stage. They're going to be going from these pots, which are protected. They have a certain amount of light, a certain amount of warmth. Sometimes it's artificial light and artificial warmth, but it's controlled. I'm helping them control their environment right now. But in the next week or two, they're going to go from these pots in the protected garage out into the garden. It's that change, that time of change. Well, our liminal spaces in life are much, much more serious than these little plants. It's times like going from graduation from high school into college or into a job. It's when we have a job maybe and go into unemployment, or have a job and go into retirement. It can be those life passages when we go from single life to marriage, or two people in a family to a third one coming along. It's a new way of existing, often a new way to think. It's when our former ways are challenged or changed, or both. And I think the most important and maybe the hardest liminal space is that of going from life to death. So when we're standing on the cliff, we have one foot over and we're about to leap. It's not knowing what's ahead, that uncertainty, and that's that time when it's out of our control. Well, this global pandemic is an immense collective liminal space. The entire world is going from one world into a new world. There's the world that we knew. We had a certain amount of control over. We thought we were doing well. And now we're entering a new world where things are not so certain. In the beginning, I had high hopes that some good changes would happen. I liked what I saw. I liked the way that people were helping one another, that we were getting together as a world, trying to figure out this problem. But now I'm beginning to wonder. I'm beginning to see some of our old ways coming back, and maybe the challenges are steering us in some not so good ways. Normally we want to avoid liminal space, but it's important to journey through it. It's a time when we are most teachable, when we are humble, and when we are most vulnerable. If we're willing to sit and be, and when I say be, I mean take that time to just accept it. Keep the predictions down and the complaining and the blaming. Just sit and look around and see what our world is like right now. If we're willing to do that, then we can learn something new and maybe learn something essential. If we're willing to do that, there's a possibility that we will see or understand ourselves and others in a much deeper sense, that we might gain a broader perspective of life and of others. If we're willing to be, to simply sit in this time, then we might hear the voice of God. We might hear our own voice. We might have a chance to creatively change our own lives, and as each of us change our own lives, we have the possibility to change the world. I hope hope that you're doing okay, and I hope that you're healthy.